Okay, so for the waffle rib stitch, you're going to want to start with your half double crochet foundation row, which is essentially doing 2 rows at the same time, or you can do the traditional chain and then do a half double crochet in each stitch, whichever method you prefer. I just prefer it to go faster, so that's what I do. You're going to want to start with an odd number of chains, and I have 11 half double crochets here. And then you're going to want to start with your chain 2 at the beginning of the row. So I want to show you where to put that stitch in. So you're going to turn it on its side and look at this, and you'll see the V's. There's the front side of the V, or the first loop, or the front loop, and then the back side of the V, or the back loop. And then you see how it makes it a V, so it goes down and then back up. So we are going to be alternating, working into the back loop and then working into the front loop, and back and front, and so on and so forth, all the way down our sample here. And I do highly suggest that you start with a sample, because you don't want to start with all these chains and find out you don't really like this stitch. And then you'll have all these samples. You can make a really cool sampler blanket. So we're gonna, like I said, chain 2 and yarn over, and we're gonna start in that back loop doing a half double crochet stitch. If you're not sure how to do a half double crochet, I will have a little link right up, let's see, where's my finger? Right up there, and I'll have it down below on the half double crochet stitch. Then you're gonna wanna go to the next stitch and do a front loop half double crochet. And you're gonna want to repeat that all the way down the row. This creates a nice texture, and I love it because little fingers won't get caught in here if you're using it for a blanket. This would make a nice stitch for a purse, or, I mean, I can see this being anything really. I just love it. And it works up really fast, which is also another plus. So work all the way down, and whatever stitch you started with, so we started with a back loop, you're gonna end with an opposite stitch. So as long as you end with an opposite stitch, you did it right. If you didn't, go back and check. And you can look at your work. Let me zoom in a little bit here. You can look and see what you've done. You can tell that this is a back loop because that horizontal bar from that front loop is there, and then you worked into that stitch. Let me get my needle so to put my big finger in the way. And then again in the next stitch, you can see that bar from that front loop is there, but then we worked into that bar, so you can kind of tell. So if you've messed up, just go back and look at it and just fix that so it will have the right effect. Okay, then you want to go ahead and chain 2 and turn your work. So we're going to start with the back loop and then a front loop. And you're going to do that same thing all the way down your row. So I'm going to work probably 4 rows, and then I will show you a color change. So I'll be right back. Okay, I've come up to my last stitch. How did you do? Are you loving this stitch or what? I mean, I love how it makes these little like peak looking things, and I love the texture. It's so yummy. It's squishy, and it just gives a lot of bumpy texture, which is really nice, especially if you're making like a sensory blanket. I could see this like a square on a sensory blanket. That would be really cool, like really cool. So I want to tell you what happened when I was doing this little sample. I got a not so lovely gift from the manufacturer. I got one of those horrible little knot tails. I picked up the wrong piece. One of those horrible little knot tails right in the middle of my yarn. So if you want to know how to fix this and make it where, okay, let me show you where my knot is. I can't even find it. It's so flat. There it is right there. Just dropped my needle, so I'll grab my scissors. The knot, let me bring it up here, is right there. Can you even see that? Let me try to pick it up. Maybe not. The knot is right there. I mean, that's how tiny it is. And you see there's no tails. There's no yuckiness or anything. So if you want to know how to do that, click on this little eye up here, or I'll have also a link down below. Okay, so let's continue on with our beautiful waffle rib stitch. So we're at the last stitch here. And remember, we're going to end in that front loop. And then I want you to pull through, but then stop right here. And then, actually we don't even need that up there. So what I'm going to do is cut myself, I like to give myself at least 8 inches so I have plenty of room to tie in my tails and weave them in. I don't tie them in, but weave in my tails. And so give yourself plenty of room there. I don't crochet over them because they're eventually going to come out. So I'm going to grab my white, that's my next color. So I'm just going to bring my yarn back here and hold it. And then I'm going to bring my end of my yarn right there as well and just hold that as if I'm just crocheting along and there's nothing ever different. So I'm going to put my hand in my yarn as normal and just pull through that. And that's that easy to change colors. And so then when you turn your work over, just give a little tug to your blue yarn and then watch this yarn right here. Kind of have to, and there goes the scissors. Kind of have to hold this. How can I show this? Let's see. Let me show it after effect. Look how tight that brings that yarn. And then just leave your tails go over there. And then you chain 2 and you continue on. So I'm gonna do, helps yarn over first. I'm gonna do a couple more rows and show you the finished product and how pretty these yarn changes look with this stitch and the awesome effect you get. Okay, so here you have the final sample. How did your sample go? I'm just loving this. I pulled the white paper away so you can really see the white and the blue together. Aren't you just loving this? I love this stitch. I love the texture. This is different than the waffle stitch, but I mean, you know, the names will call them cousins, but they're really not, because with that you go around like the whole post, like in a double crochet, and this is a half double crochet, but it just gives such a scrumptious texture. I really love it. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial, and I can't wait to see your projects and what you do with this. And if you make this blanket, please share it with me on social media. You can tag me at A-Barn Creation. Visit our website where we have the written pattern for this beautiful blanket. And I'm over on Instagram most days, so come on over there and chat with me. Or if you have any questions about this stitch, I would just love to talk with you. And you can visit our Facebook page. We have a A-Barn Creation Crafters page, and where we introduce all of our newest stitches and ask like what you want to learn next and things like that. Thanks so much for watching. You have a great day.